The conclave, power, legacy, and the battle for the soul of the Catholic Church. As Pope Francis' transformative era edges towards its inevitable close, the Roman Catholic Church finds itself at a dramatic crossroads. The conclave that lies ahead will not simply select a new leader, it will chart the Church's course through some of the most volatile moral, political, and spiritual questions of our time. And within the closed, smoke-shrouded walls of the Sistine Chapel, battles of ideology, geography, and vision are already being quietly waged. The nature of the conclave, come-clave with a key, is both a deeply spiritual exercise and a high-stakes political drama. Cardinals under 80 years old, 137 in number, with a striking 72% appointed by Pope Francis himself, will cast secret ballots up to 4 times daily until a new pope emerges with a 2/3 majority. Cloistered inside the Sistine Chapel, they will pray, debate, maneuver, and ultimately decide the future face of the Catholic Church. Turbulent waters, the controversies shaping the election. Following Pope Francis, several burning issues are set to ignite fierce debate inside the conclave. 1. Legacy of Pope Francis and the Church's direction. Progressive vs. traditionalist. Francis championed an inclusive approach, embracing LGBTQ+ Catholics, welcoming divorce and remarried believers, and prioritizing social justice. Traditionalists long for a return to firm doctrines reminiscent of Pope Benedict XVI's papacy. Women's roles. The idea of female deacons and murmurs about women priests will deeply divide the electors. Some see it as necessary evolution, others as doctrinal peril. Celibacy debate. Pressure is mounting to revisit mandatory priestly celibacy, particularly in regions facing priest shortages. Bioethics battles. Issues like contraception, assisted reproduction, and genetic editing could drive heated debates on the Church's future bioethical stances. 2. Clergy abuse crisis and accountability. Justice for survivors. Though Francis took important steps with Vos Estis Lux Mundi, many feel implementation has been inconsistent. Electors may demand a pope with a laser focus on reform and survivor advocacy. Zero tolerance. Cardinals will scrutinize contenders' histories on how they handled abuse claims. Silence or complicity will be disqualifying. 3. Vatican finances and global politics. Financial transparency. After scandals like the London property fiasco, financial stewardship will be non-negotiable for papably. The Vatican-China deal. The agreement allowing Chinese authorities a role in bishop selection deeply troubles many cardinals concerned about religious freedom and moral compromise. The main contenders, power, backgrounds, and battle lines. Here are the names and the hidden forces shaping the next chapter. Cardinal Peter Turkson from Ghana, a pope from Africa. Background: former head of the dicastery for promoting integral human development, long seen as an intellectual giant and bridge builder. Strengths: deep commitment to social justice and environmental issues. Strong global South appeal in a church where over 60% of Catholics now live outside Europe. Weaknesses: may be seen as too tied to Francis' agenda without the sharp political instincts needed for Vatican realpolitik. Dramatic potential: a historic first African pope in 1,500 years would electrify the world and challenge the Church to confront its own colonial past. Cardinal Matteo Zuppi from Italy, the subtle strategist. Background: Archbishop of Bologna and president of the Italian Bishops' Conference, known for his roots in the progressive Sant'Egidio community. Strengths: a pastoral heart, formidable political skills, and the ability to bridge theological divides. Weaknesses: seen by conservatives as too close to Francis and too soft on contested moral issues. Dramatic potential: the restoration of an Italian to the papacy would soothe a Vatican curious still nostalgic for traditional Italian dominance. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle from Philippines, the Asian star. Background: prefect of the dicastery for evangelization, former Archbishop of Manila. Strengths: deeply charismatic, emotionally intelligent, with a global vision of a multicultural, compassionate church. Weaknesses: perceived as inexperienced in Vatican administration. Some whisper he is too nice for the brutal political demands of the papacy. Dramatic potential: an Asian pope would signal a seismic shift toward the rising epicenters of Catholic growth in global geopolitics. Cardinal Robert Serra from Guinea, the standard bearer for tradition. Background: former head of the Congregation for Divine Worship, a fierce critic of modernity and secularism. Strengths: a champion for liturgical tradition, moral orthodoxy, and religious identity in an increasingly post-Christian West. Weaknesses: polarizing, divisive figure within the College of Cardinals. Electing him could signal outright rejection of the Francis era. Dramatic potential: a Sarah papacy would mark a dramatic and controversial counter-revolution against the currents of the past decade. Predicted battle lines inside the conclave. As the crimson-clad cardinals gather beneath Michelangelo's Last Judgment, the conclave will not simply be a solemn spiritual retreat. It will be a battlefield of visions of the future of Catholicism. Cardinal Peter Turkson will draw strength from a coalition of African, Asian, and Latin American cardinals who see in him the embodiment of a truly global church. His supporters envision a papacy that would reorient Catholicism away from its old European heartland toward the dynamic, faith-filled communities of the global South. However, his candidacy carries risks. Some see him as lacking the steely political instincts needed to tame the complex and often fractious Vatican bureaucracy. Others quietly question whether he has the administrative ruthlessness to deliver deep reform. Cardinal Matteo Zuppi, meanwhile, will emerge as a champion of moderate progressives, those cardinals who admire Pope Francis' pastoral emphasis but crave greater unity and clarity. His Italian roots offer a nostalgic reassurance to the Vatican establishment, longing for the days when Rome itself was both the seat and soul of the papacy. Yet Zuppi's close association with Francis-style openness on issues like LGBTQ+ inclusion could alienate the more doctrinally conservative factions, who fear a further drift from traditional moral teachings. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle will captivate those yearning for a rejuvenated missionary church. His backers see in him a bright, compassionate, and culturally fluent pope who could energize young Catholics and engage the non-Western world with grace. An Asian pontiff, they argue, would be a stunning recognition of the Church's growing heartlands. However, there are murmurs of doubt. Tagle's gentle pastoral style may lack the hard-edged pragmatism needed to wrestle with the Vatican's entrenched financial and political scandals. His critics wonder whether, in the brutal chessboard of Vatican politics, he would be too much a shepherd and not enough a general. Finally, Cardinal Robert Serra will rally the global conservative bloc, cardinals who believe the Church has strayed too far into ambiguity and compromise. Serra offers a vision of return to solemn liturgies, clear moral doctrines, and unapologetic Catholic identity. His election would electrify traditionalists but would likely deepen the rifts opened under Francis. There are fears, even among his natural allies, that a Serra papacy could trigger open rebellion among more progressive sectors of the global church, setting off a turbulent and possibly schismatic era. Thus, the conclave will not simply pit individuals against one another. It will pit dreams of a global South Church against the weight of Roman tradition, progressive pastoralism against doctrinal firmness, renewal against restoration. No vote will be cast lightly. Every ballot will be a statement about what the cardinals believe the Church must become to survive and to thrive across the 21st century. Final word: smoke, secrets, and the shape of things to come. Inside the conclave, alliances will form and shatter in an instant. Dark horses could emerge. Deals will be whispered under the vaulted ceilings of the Sistine Chapel, while prayers ascend silently heavenward. When the white smoke rises, the Church and the world will witness not merely the election of a pope, but the setting of a profound course. Renewal or restoration, inclusion or identity, global South or Roman center. The stakes could hardly be higher. The bells of St. Peter's Basilica await their cue.